Good morning. It's 8:30 and I'm here with Charlie O'Hara to answer any and all of your legal questions. You can give us a call if you have a question. That's at 316-436-1212. Charlie, thanks for coming back in.
Great to be here.
Appreciate it. It does sound like we do have a couple calls on the line. So first caller, what's your question for Charlie?
Hey, Charlie. My name is Donnie, and the question is, how can my fiance get her disability started when she already has an attorney and they're not wanting to help? What can she do?
Well, I mean, if she's got an attorney, I mean, the first thing that she ought to do is, and I've said this repeatedly, I don't think people sometimes understand what attorneys do. I mean, we're quite busy, and the problem is if you're doing some long paperwork or brief or motion that you're filing or petition to do something and you keep taking calls in the middle of it, you can't ever get it done. So sometimes you get done, even though you're in the office, you get done what you have to get done because you're on a deadline. And then when you're done, then you start taking calls. So sometimes it appears we're quite hard to get a hold of. And then when we get the calls, there's so many of them, sometimes we prioritize them with the ones that we believe are the most urgent at the time, not necessarily the most important, but urgent at the time to get them done. So if you can't get a hold of your attorney, I would suggest to everyone to keep calling your attorney. And if you're not able to get a hold of them on a phone, call up, make an appointment. Most attorneys will see you and talk to you, and then usually when you talk to them, they'll tell you what's going on. I mean, most attorneys aren't trying to avoid you, they just have things going on. It's very difficult to understand exactly what we do, and I tell everybody, just make an appointment, go in there and talk to your attorney, and usually you can settle everything. Usually the attorney will talk to you, they'll be reasonable, we're supposed to be reasonable with you, and most attorneys are. Okay?
Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it. Second caller, what's your question?
Hi. I am wondering what the best route is for a young woman who has had a child with a young man. They are not married, and he has left. What is the best route for her to go to get help inexpensively for custody?
Well, you threw the word in there, inexpensively, and there's attorneys of all different ranges. Obviously, what you need to do is go to court. And usually when you go to court, I think you should have an attorney with you. And you go to court and the judge will settle all that. The attorney knows what procedures to follow, what papers to file, how to argue those papers. And there's attorneys of all different prices that you can go to. I mean, there's a lot of attorneys in the city of Wichita or whatever city you're in, and it's usually it's a very competitive business. And if you call around, you might find an attorney that's a lot less than the other attorney. Now, that's not always the best thing to do because some attorneys may appear to be charging you more to begin with or charge you more by the hour if they're charging by the hour. But sometimes they're much more efficient and get things done much quicker, and in the long run, it helps you. So you can shop around for attorneys. You don't have to just go to one attorney and stick or anything like that. You can call them up and make appointments and talk to them. I mean, we're a business like everybody else's business, and most attorneys want to try to help people. So if you go in there with a legitimate question and talk to them, they can help you go to court. And I guess what I would encourage you in this situation is, if she wants custody, go hire an attorney, go to the judge, and you have to notify everybody, but if she's the one that ought to have custody, she'll get it. Okay?
Thank you, Charlie. Now, we did have a third caller. We're running out of time, so I'll go ahead and kind of give you the lowdown on that. She apparently received a piece of jewelry from now an ex-husband, receives a lot of mail from the place that he purchased it from. She feels like she's essentially being harassed by that. What constitutes harassment? Is there anything that she can do to sort of end this in a civil way?
Well, I mean, if it's just mail being sent to you for something, I don't think there's any harassment there. If you don't like the fact that somebody keeps sending you things in the mail, I guess you can, number one, ignore it, but number two, if you really think it's bothering you, you can call them up and tell them to quit. I don't think there's any kind of a lawsuit or anything like that. We have freedom to advertise. If we don't like it, we don't have to look at it, we can ignore it.
Okay. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate you taking the calls. We're out of time now, but of course, you can always call back next week if you do have a question. We're back in just a couple of minutes with more Eyewitness News this morning.